folks, welcome in for another episode of the Next Shift Pod. Kenny and I are back. It's been a couple weeks. We figured we'd do a little bit of a watch along here as we got a couple great games going on tonight. Kenny, how are you doing tonight? And which games are you going to be watching?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Like I said earlier, obviously a lot of things are going down with the Islanders, so I will be watching the New York Islanders tonight. Unfortunately, there was news that came out that Cal Ritchie was supposed to play his first game tonight for the New York Islanders, and his flight ended up getting canceled, so he will not be
Oof.
playing. That means Marshall Warren will be staying in New York playing for the Islanders. He was going to be one of those guys that was most likely going to be sent back if Ritchie was going to play. I'm sure everybody knows by now Matt Barzal being sat tonight because
Yep.
he missed a team bus ride to the rink, and Matthew Darsh apparently had enough of that. So a lot of stuff going on with the Islanders today, but that's
Culture
going to be the
accountability. We're seeing it all over the place these days.
Yeah, no. So I feel like that's definitely a game I'm going to be tuning into. Brandon Bussey getting the start, so a Long Island native playing against the Islanders, so that should be a fun storyline. And that game doesn't start until 7:30, so I think both of us will be watching the Bruins up until then.
Yeah, I got a nice little split screen going on over here because we got the lovely Northeastern Huskies playing BC Bruins College Eagles here. So that'll be a fun one to watch. They got the game tonight and a game tomorrow in that. So that'll be a nice little split screen of Boston action for me over here. And then I got a meeting in a little bit, but for now we'll have these rolling, and the bees are on their roll, and hopefully they can keep up their turnaround from the last week and a half.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great game against the Islanders. Islanders take a 2-0 lead, but Bruins end up battling back. It's
Yeah, a game you
obviously
actually got to watch.
I know it was funny. I was like, my gosh, two goals on two shots, and the guy that I work with, Joey McAuliffe, just texts back, the Islanders blow these types of leads all the time, and I was like, nah, man, the Bruins just got thrashed 7-2 the night before. I think that's it, and the Bruins end up coming back and pretty resounding victory, and people were not happy with the way that Ilya Sorokin played. I'll tell you that.
Sorokin, man, he has, ever since he signed the contract, like I worried when he signed it that it wasn't going to age well, but it's aged worse than I ever could have imagined. That deal, 8 million AAV.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one for sure. I know fans are so upset, and David Riddick, of all people, are sitting behind him right now. People are, calling for him to be the starter of that team, and it's difficult when you have a guy that you're paying that much. I'm sure. I mean,
Well, I mean, I think people have underestimated David Riddick for probably the entirety of his career, to be honest with you, but significantly overall, they've underrated him, and obviously getting him to be essentially the number 3, but with Varlamov still out, that's a great 1, 2, 3 in the pipes there. A very underrated second and third option, but I mean, the Varlamov injury, I think is. I do think we'd see very different results if it was still Sorokin Varlamov.
Yeah, and I do believe Varlamov will be coming back soon, so we'll see how that goes. Like I said, covering Bridgeport, David Riddick would be a huge boost to that goaltending tandem. Right now, it's Parker DeHagen and Marcus Hogberg, both playing pretty well, honestly. But I mean, if you have a guy who has that that NHL experience like David Riddick coming down, I mean, then it's a huge boost for any team around the AHL. So
yeah, no, for sure. And he's the type that you'd want to have around, even because even going down to the American Hockey League, he's not going to be one of the guys that like complains about ice time or starts. Like he knows he'll get some games. He knows he's the logical first call up. So he'll be supportive of the kid that you're trying to develop down there in an organization. But I mean, it's a good opportunity for him. I mean, he's only 33. People forget that. He's only 33. He's got a couple more good years in him.
I would be interested to see if he makes it down. Obviously, that would be a huge loss for the Isles organization if he doesn't make it down. But um, right now, they do have a solid tandem despite not having a great record right now. I feel like the fans are certainly more optimistic. I was in the building last night, which was fun. I I asked a few people how they were feeling, and they're all in on that Rocky Thompson hockey. Joey likes to call it that Rocky hockey, trademarked.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So no, the team battles. I mean, again, I know we don't have a lot of Islanders fans following, but I'll say like the last season covering Providence, watching from the other side, that team just could not handle any adversity. They give up a goal, it's over. It really just wasn't a team that fought hard. They didn't look like a team, really. They just looked like a bunch of individuals out there. This year, they care, and you can never really get that full experience unless you're in the arena, which we're trying to
Yeah.
do more of. But watching the way that he, talks on the bench, getting the guys ready to go. I mean, and seeing guys like Chris Terry, who hasn't had a fantastic start to the season, going through and talking with a bunch of the young guys during TV timeouts, pointing to places on the ice. I saw that a few times with Chris Terry and Isaiah George. Isaiah George being one of those guys like Marshall Warren who's competing to be in that lineup in New York. So, it's just stuff like that. It's super cool to see. So it was definitely a good few days. And I mean, I can't say enough about Cal Ritchie. This is a prospect show, so I'm glad I get to sound off a little bit on this, but he's so skilled, and I'm so I'm jealous of the Islanders fans that get to have him in their system. I mean, honestly, he's been unbelievable since being sent down to Bridgeport. He was most likely going to start the season on Long Island, but on Long Island.
Yeah.
But he ended up getting injured, so he was not. They weren't going to throw him right into NHL competition, but 3 games, he has 3 points. So, I mean, yesterday, beautiful feed to Cam Berg right in front of the net. So,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
he's definitely like, I mean, they've got some exciting kids already on the island. Schaefer's stuck. Like, if you just look at Schaefer, we got puck drop in BC Northeastern here, and the Bruins stream on my end just finished up the anthem, and so they're going through all that. We got an interesting matchup though in goal here. We got Korick for BC, and then Lawton Zacher for Northeastern, and pretty big disparity between their performances on paper thus far. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, because Northeastern took a big hit in goal when Colin Whitehead went up to Henderson. So, but
Yeah, wow.
Then we've got the Bruins game. They've now got puck drop. So I've seen a little bit, not a lot, of discourse because of the way Boston has been playing. Some people are finally starting to check out Providence. Gail and I keep trying to remember, what was the line that you said about Providence results? Do you remember a couple weeks ago when you joined us?
What did I say? Because I commented it too.
I know.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember, and I'm lazy, so I don't feel like going back and looking for the comment.
It was something about like when the Bruins lose, people start looking at whatever the Providence results, but they're not watching the games. So
it was something like they're watching Boston action and seeing Providence results or something. It was a nice little quip, and it's so true.
Oh yeah.
But the funny thing is that I have now started to see a few people who they want to try to be on the Providence train, but it's obvious when they're saying that Zazacek is clearly a way, he's having a way better season than DiPietro, and I'm like, do you not see who he's played? Like, 2 of his starts have come against Hartford, and 1 has come against the Bridgeport.
Yeah, I mean,
and like,
Yeah, it's
And
such a
then
small sample
DiPietro gets
size.
but then DiPietro gets the game against Wilkes-Barre Scranton. Like, I get it. Zazacek has a sub 2 goals against, almost a 940 save percentage, but he looks good. Don't get me wrong, but there's a difference between playing Wilkes-Barre Scranton and Bridgeport.
There
There's a
definitely
huge
is.
difference.
I mean, Bridgeport is, they're a great team and they battle hard, and that's going to result in some wins. And honestly, 6 of the 8 teams make it, so it is still realistic for Bridgeport to make the playoffs. And like I said, I feel like Bridgeport had Providence on the ropes a few times, and unfortunately, they play a complete 50-minute game, and
Yeah.
those 10 minutes they lose it, and that's what happened last night. But I mean,
Unfortunately, the game goes for 60 minutes.
yeah, unfortunately for that squad, but I'll say that, I mean, you look at the roster difference and you look at Boston. I mean, you look at that power play alone, and
Mm-hmm.
Bridgeport special teams have struggled, but you need to look at just Georgi Merkulov, right? And then Matt Patra and Matej Blumel, Alex Steves, Victor Soderstrom. Like, that's a power play. Like, and when you have guys like Dan Zlachmel playing on the third line after going 2 points per game to finish off the AHL season, like, that's how you know your team has incredible depth. So, and in Bridgeport's case right now, they have Marshall Warren up, who leads the team in points still, even though he hasn't been there for the last 3 games, which tells you all you need to know. It's a huge loss, and Providence just has unbelievable depth in a lot of areas, even at that goaltending position. And like you said, I mean, Sasachek's been good, but you have to give DiPietro his props because he is truly a world-class AHL goalie. So,
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And I feel like I beat the crap out of him in my breakdown a couple weeks ago that I posted on the site nextshift.hockey. But it's an assessment of the goals he let in. He's working on things. That's why he's in Providence. I mean, with the way Boston is playing, they could have Patrick Waugh in goal, and they'd still be giving up 4 or 5 goals a game and losing some of these games. So it doesn't really matter what you see out of Korpisalo and Swayman when the rest of the team is playing that bad. But I do want to see DiPietro get a chance. Like, I'm not rooting against the guy. I want to see him fix the things that have caused some of these goals to happen and be better for it. Like you mentioned, Brandon Bussey's getting a start tonight. I want to flip that game on when it starts. I'm going to check it out and see where he's at in his game. I'm glad to see that he's having success. He's also being put in a position to have success. If he was playing for the Boston Bruins this year, he would not be, 3-1 right now?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he would be 0-4 with a goals against average of like 7. Like, now I got to go look up what his actual stats are, because I know they're actually pretty darn good.
They are good. I've been impressed with what I've seen from Bussey. So,
and let's not forget, he's had the stint last year in Florida. So, like, he got to work with an additional goalie coach other than just Mike Dunham and goalie Bob up here in Boston. Not to say that, they couldn't figure it out or anything like that, but sometimes it's just the extra voice, the additional voice, the whatever. It helps.
yeah, and I mean, he looks good with Carolina, but let's not forget, like, that team is still a very, very good team. Like,
oh yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Yeah, he is. He's 2-1 with a 91.1 save percentage and a 2.33 goals against. Like, last year those are the numbers he put up in 33 games last year in Providence. Like, and the year before in 41 games. Like, he has found a way to transition his game to the NHL for 3 games.
yeah, again,
Let's see where it keeps going.
again, small sample size. Like, again, not enough for me to make any bold statements other than he's played well, and he deserves props, and I'm very happy for him. But again, nothing to be like, I can't believe we didn't give up Corpusalo for this guy. Like, it's not that deep. I haven't been
Yeah.
so well versed here on the Bruins Twitter. I'm sure they're not happy with the way everything has gone, but
No.
I have a feeling that they are not happy with everything that has gone on. But
And I do want, actually, speaking of kind of that Bruins discourse on Twitter, I've seen a few people try to position, due to the struggles of one. I'm just moving my other monitor so I don't have to keep turning at such a large degree. Due to the struggles of Mason Lohrei, people want to see the young kids, and not just Lohrei. Let me rephrase that part of it. But because Lohrei is struggling on the left side of the D, immediately people go call up one of the kids. And then who do you want to have called up? And immediately the name that a lot of people are jumping to, Freddie Brunet. And I'm like, no, you got to let Frederic Brunet play this season in Providence as much as you can. First of all, you don't want to throw him to the shitstorm that has been the Boston Bruins. Like, he is gaining confidence in his ability to learn the new system, and he's having success doing it. You pluck him out of where he's having success and you put him with 5 other defensemen who are clearly also struggling with it, he's going to lose that confidence real freaking quick.
yeah, I mean, you don't want Freddie Brunet to come up and be a 7th defenseman. Honestly, like that's the
No.
first thing. If he has a chance of sitting just 1 or 2 nights, that's not what you want for a player of where he is at right now. And this was something that was brought up last year. Like, there's nothing different or whatever it is. I mean, he's just not built to be in that role. And not for nothing, Providence is playing so well right now that it's just like, why would you take a developing player out of that unless you absolutely had to, or unless they were completely blowing everything out of the water? And you have to realize that even though the team is doing well, right, if you're placed on a line with Merkulov and Steves or Blumel or whatever, you're going to produce points. I can
Yep.
go out there and produce points if I'm playing on a line with those two because they're so skilled. That's why you have to watch the games. You have to see who's actually driving the line. And I know this isn't really about Freddie Brunet anymore, but it's
No,
the whole thing.
it's this. Yeah, he's driving his D pair. He's doing a great job in Providence. I'm not withholding that from him. But when you have guys like Asperat and you have guys like Jordan Harris, which we'll get to him in a little bit, and you have Michael Callahan, these are the guys that are going to come in and help solidify the defense and focus on the basics and not let things get away from them. Frederic Brunet is going to come in. He would have a great 2, 3, 4, 10 game bump because of adrenaline. And then once that wears off, he's going to come right back down to earth. He's going to be put in positions where other players are trying to overcompensate for him. That's going to cause doubt to creep into his mindset about the game he's playing that he's having success with right now down in Providence. He's going to lose a lot of practice time. So, like, you don't need to put that on him to have that going back and forth. And then when, like you said, you don't want him to be a 7th defenseman. He needs ice time. It's the same thing as what we were talking about ad nauseum last year with Matthew Poitras. He's better off being a constant top line player in Providence than on the 9th floor in Boston playing once every 2 to 3 games.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why this is like such a conversation every single time. I don't know why this is so difficult to grasp, but I don't know what's up with everybody. And again, it is the people that aren't watching the games and aren't fully understanding, which, like, I'm happy to explain it, but it's really not a difficult concept to get, that you don't want these guys coming up and playing on a team that is struggling, or some of these guys just aren't ready. Like,
Yep.
and it's okay, and it's not necessarily a knock on how they play or who they are.
Right. Like, notice how no one for the last 3 years has screamed to call up Brett Harrison. I've never heard his name once. Kid's got an NHL ready shot and has since he was drafted. But not once has anybody sat there and been like, call him up, because he's not ready. Now, I don't know if he'll be ready with the Bruins, without the Bruins ever. Like, it's just like any other prospect. You just don't know right now. He's just not there right now today. That's okay. You've got to figure it out beyond that. Not to mention, like, with where the Bruins are at right now, like, tell me Michael Callahan is not the perfect type of player to call up, get some use out of, essentially showcase. And when a team goes, we need a depth defenseman at the deadline because we have someone who's banged up and we're going to need to manage all along the way. And we need someone on the left side who can be a third pairing guy, but we need him to just come in and play defense. But we need to know that he can go to the ninth floor and come back. Callahan's that guy. You got a couple guys like that. Callahan's one of those guys. Asperat is showing he might be one of those guys. Again, they're not older vet guys. They're not carrying major cap hits. You get a third-round draft pick for him, fourth-round draft pick for him.
Yeah, and again, this was the same thing that I feel like a broken record. I'm sure you do as well, where we say the exact same thing. This is what these players are for. Michael Callahan is the perfect player who is reliable. You can slot in. He might not score goals, but he's quick. He's reliable. He's very good in the defensive end. This is the type of guy that you want on the ninth floor when the game isn't, when he's not playing. But Freddie Brunet is not one of those guys. Just like I wouldn't want Matt Poitras to be sitting up in the stands while the game's going on. Right now it's a matter of just it's so difficult because Providence is playing so well, and people immediately look at the stats and they're like, well, the Bruins suck and Georgi Merkulov has 25 points in 5 games, so guess what? Call him
plug
up.
And play. Plug and play. Put him on a line next to Pasta.
Well, listen, if Merkulov had 25 points in 5 games, I'm sure he would deserve a call up, but he has like 5 goals in 5 games, and now they're like, call him up. It's not how it works. It's not how it should work. Everybody needs to just relax. I know the Bruins are struggling, but calling them up isn't necessarily the right choice.
It's funny that you say the Bruins are struggling. Immediately, as soon as you said the Bruins are struggling, in my head, I'm like, no, they're not. They're exactly where they should be. Like that's immediately the thought that I had was they're exactly where they should be, because this is where they are in a rebuild, like a rebuild, retool, revamp, whatever you want to call it. You're trying to win today to a certain degree. Like, they are not all in for a cup right now. I think we can all acknowledge that. They are trying to do 2 things at once. Colorado, on the other hand, is not. They are trying to do one thing. Vegas is trying to do one thing. Colorado, Vegas, Dallas, Carolina to some degree, they are all looking at it going, we want to win the cup right now. Give me the cup right now. What do I need to do that? They are not focused on simultaneously rebuilding their prospect pipeline. Boston is sitting there going, I'm not ready to say all my chips are all in. So I need to try to win, because I don't want to lose. People don't tank around here as much as fans want to put that out there. But they're also sitting there going, how can we put together a good team that's competitive, that's playoff worthy, while also restocking our pipeline as the main priority?
Yeah, and I think as well as anybody, development isn't always linear.
Nope. Just because that's the problem.
Yes,
that it's not linear.
That's the thing, right? Like, they could have had a great season last year, and they could have finished last year on the bubble. But things happen, and situations change, and the team is different, and things happen, and I think that's the thing. You have to stay so current on what's happening for you to truly understand when players should be called up and this, that, and the other, and people just aren't. So this is why you need to find people who you trust and people who put out that kind of information, or just watch the games.
There's also, and I hate to be blunt and obvious here, there's 31 other teams doing the exact same fucking thing you're doing. Like, things are going to change. And like, we saw a minor trade today. minor trade between Philly and Dallas, defenseman for a forward. But that's the kind of trade, honestly, that starts to shake things up because someone has moved a defenseman, someone has moved a forward. Both markets are now different. There's a price tag, there's a value, there's already been some movement. And again, those are minor moves. But when you have, again, just because it was recent, a name like a Pavel Zacha out there, right? I'm not saying Boston's going to move on from him. If they were thinking about moving on from him this early, now you can sit there and go, okay, a different forward was moved and they got this defenseman. This is the value of that player. So if we perceive Zacha's value to be this, we can ask for this to negotiate down to Y, which is what we're willing to settle for. And now you can have more of that movement. And Zacha's probably not going to be dealt. Logically, it just doesn't make any sense for Boston to do right now. If they go 0-10 in their next 10 games, we're having a different conversation. I just, that's why major moves don't happen this early. That's why the Rantanen thing came out of nowhere last year. Because it was just before the holiday break, if I remember correctly on the timing. It was sometime in December, right?
Yeah.
The first move. Boy, does that look like a dumb move now, by the way, hindsight.
Oh, yeah. Brutal.
Nate's just getting $500,000 less per year for the same duration of time. I saw that and I went, oh, boy.
Yeah. That was rough. That was a rough look. I'll tell you that. But, man, the Bruins are, things are happening. And again, I say all this, putting my 2 cents in as somebody who has not been, fully committed to watching Providence this season. So obviously my opinions on some of the players, this is only me watching 2 or 3 games. But, the team's playing, like I said, like you talked about earlier, whatever I was saying, like the Bruins are struggling and Providence is playing very, very well right now. And I don't care what team you are, but if that's the combination, if the Islanders were struggling and Bridgeport was playing well, if the Rangers were struggling and Hartford was playing well, there will
Let's
be fans
honest.
out
When
there.
is Hartford playing well?
It's been a while. I'm sure those fans aren't happy, but not that I could really talk. Bridgeport's like 2-4-1 right now, but
right.
Gabe Perreault has a decent start with that team. I thought I read a tweet somewhere. Gabe Perreault leading the team in a few areas. Let me fact check that. I watched one game, unfortunately. Well, I mean, fortunately for me, unfortunately for this argument, I watched one game of Hartford and Bridgeport shut them out. So I really don't know. I can't really speak to it. Yeah, Gabe Perreault, 7 points in 7 games, 3 goals, 4 assists. So good for him.
Yeah,
Glad to see it.
I got two zip scores over here, so that's fun to watch.
Yeah, good start.
It's been a great start, though. Couple minutes, about 10 minutes, 9 and some change left in the Bruins' first period. They already are 0-1 on the power play. Boston with 9.5 minutes left to go. Guess how many shots they have on goal so far?
I really have no idea.
A whopping 1.
1?
Yep. Seems a little high for them.
Yeah, I know. We usually get more than halfway through the period before we see them get a first shot. So,
but they're holding Buffalo. They are really holding them back down to 8.
Okay, so there's a fair trade.
Yeah,
it's a good trade-off.
Meanwhile, Boston College has 12 and Northeastern has 5.
Yeah,
Boston College is out shooting Buffalo and Boston combined.
Do you want to talk about Penn State?
Oh boy, where do you want to go with that one?
Well, first off, I want to say not that I was concerned, not that I was saying anything poor about Gavin McKenna, but I was like, ooh, it's getting a little bit dicey here, especially given the opponents that they're playing and the points that they're producing. Like, they're
Oh
having
yeah.
games where there's high scoring affairs, and Gavin McKenna's not getting on the score sheet. And then he completely turns it around the next game and ends up scoring a ton and gets on the
Yeah,
score
he
sheet.
shut you up.
Yeah, immediately after. I think I texted you, and then immediately after Gavin McKenna scores, and I was like, okay, well, that's what it took. Me texting you and looking like an idiot. But
well, I mean, last year Brett Howard had to call out Morgan Geeky, and ever since he did, look at how much Morgan Geeky's been scoring. So we just got to call people out more, and it can't be coaches doing it; it's got to be fans doing it.
I would not dare call out Gavin McKenna. I'm sure there will be a mob of those alumni travel well. They are everywhere. I'm sure I have a few neighbors that are Penn State alumni.
Well, by the time
door.
they get to your door, he'll have 12 goals, and they'll go, "Never mind."
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully,
yeah,
I got to pick a game day.
Yeah, he flipped the switch. Thanks. We'll give you credit.
Unfortunately, right now they're down 2-0 to Ohio State, so that sucks. But
Darlene going for a trip.
I also what is it? The Spangler. There was new players announced to the United States Spangler Cup team or whatever it was. The USA Collegiate team, because I did see a few. Let's see.
Yeah, those are starting to come out.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the same time that the World Juniors is on, so that'll be fun. We'll have a lot of hockey to watch.
A lot of youth.
Yeah, a lot. I really like this. I like that there are a lot of different things, so we can see the World Juniors, and then we could also see players who are potentially going to be free agents as well. So that'll be cool to kind of gauge with how those guys are doing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, last weekend, Cole Iserman, Islanders fans were going crazy over this. Got injured during the post game interview with Jay Pandolfo. Cole Iserman was seen in the background with a boot and crutches, which was not good. And as you could probably assume, Islanders fans were not too happy as they were holding their breath for more news. Fortunately, the crutches and the boot came off, but he's still
I mean, oftentimes they're going to be extra cautious with certain things. Like, I mean, we just found out today the fractured ankle for Jordan Harris. Like, we knew it was bad because they immediately went, he's going right to IR, but Boston almost had a scoring chance. Keyword is almost. I don't know if they'll end up getting credited for a shot though.
No, that's the Boston Bruins style right there. Have a nice opportunity, but not get a shot on goal, but close.
Yeah, but close. I mean, we were talking about McKenna before. I really think, because I know some people have already started to try to have people want to be first to the take. So there are some people who are already trying to sit there and go, no, Keaton Verhoff's going number one. Like, he surpassed him in the rankings and whatever. I think people forget how far ahead Gavin McKenna started this season. But I want to pose it to you like this. Which one's more NHL ready, you think?
It's difficult. I really like Gavin McKenna, but there's also stretches where I'm like, I really need to see some more consistency. I feel like you can't go pointless on the weekend, and you can't go with just one secondary assist when your team scores 12 goals in a weekend.
So if you're building a team, Boston just scored.
Really?
Geeky. Morgan Geeky.
Who we were just talking about?
Yep. And Northeastern scored.
Gail's happy.
Gail will be thrilled. So if you're building a team right now, you got holes on the left wing and you got holes on right side D. You can only pick one of them. You fill in the D spot or you fill in the wing spot. Are you taking McKenna or are you taking Verhoff? You have an opening at both. You can fill one through free agency and one through the draft. But the draft happens first.
Yeah, so I mean, first off, it's a good situation to be able to have that first pick and be able to pick one or the other, obviously. And I feel like you can get a decent left wing on in free agency. Unfortunately, free agency is going to be a complete mess as we're not seeing any decent names make
No.
it to free agency for at least the next few years because teams are just paying them off right now with the salary cap going up. So you're basically going to pick one of these guys and then the other spot is going to be not
A
great.
possible crapshoot.
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing is having a defenseman like Keen Verhoff. Those guys don't come to market a lot. Those defensemen, you basically have to draft them. They do not get traded a lot. They do not get put on the market. Those guys typically are signed for life for whatever team. You see guys like Charlie McAvoy and Adam Fox and Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes. Like, even though Quinn Hughes is, there's definitely some rumors around.
There's talk.
Those are the guys where you're just like, yeah, they don't move. Gavin McKenna, generational talent still. I mean, listen, I'm saying all this. He's still 17 years old or 18 years old, or just turning 18.
Just turned 18. Yep.
And he has 10 points in 8 games. Like, that is nothing to sneeze at. That is a very, very, very good.
That's why I'm sitting here going, I think it comes down to what team has that number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm really not a huge fan of a team drafting for position necessarily, especially with the higher picks. I feel like they should just go with whoever the best is available. But when you have an opportunity to get that lefty, depending on the team, of course, I feel like if you have both available, you might have to just go with Gavin McKenna because 1, he's the name that everybody wants to see, and 2, he's generational. Generational, that's a heavy tag, but that is the mark that he has on him.
But Bedard was marked the same way. And I'm not saying Bedard can't get there, but he is struggling. And I get it. There's not a lot around him. So the team around him has a huge impact on all around success across the board. I'm not trying to take that away from him. But that's the type of situation that Gavin McKenna is going to be put in unless you have a team that is a surprise pick in that one spot, like the Islanders were last year. Like the fact that Nashville moved up to 4.
Well, I mean, the first thing I'll say is, let's not say Connor Bedard is struggling by any means. First season puts up 61 points. Second season puts up 67 points. And then this season, he's got 12 points in 10 games.
He's struggling. 80. He's struggling compared to what the expectations were. Let me rephrase it.
Listen, the expectations are sometimes way, way off. And unfortunately, Connor Bedard has that upside if he's given the team. And I believe that is starting to, form around him a little bit. You see guys like Frank Nazar is playing unbelievably well. As of right now, he is on pace for 98 points. Like that is generational. Generational should be used very, very, sparingly. I wouldn't say that's generational, but that is incredible for a third-year player who's just 20 years old playing on a Chicago Blackhawks team that's not very good. But it's so difficult right now because you look at a guy like Schaefer and how much of an impact he's having on the Islanders. I mean, of course, they would have loved to have James Higgins. I know that was a huge name that was going around, keeping the Long Island kid in Long Island. But, man, look at what Schaefer is doing on this Islanders team. If you're a Bruins fan out there, you were able to see it while the Islanders were playing the Bruins. I mean, unbelievable pass right there unbelievable pass to set up that goal. Unfortunately, he doesn't get an assist on the play, but it was a beautiful play there. He's unbelievable. And he had a 7-game point streak to begin his career as an Islander.
Yeah, just something like that. We got another goal from Pasternak, so it's 2-0 Bruins. And then we've had 2 more goals, one for Northeastern, one for Boston College. So we're sitting at a 2-1 game with under a minute in the first.
Yeah, then the Islanders game just started. We're 30 seconds into that. Bussy's still rocking the white helmet. They got to get this guy a Carolina Hurricanes helmet at this point. I've heard people say that Bussy is rivaling Kochetkov for that backup position. People in Carolina are really enjoying Brandon Bussy right now, which is good. I'm happy
Is
for him.
that game on ESPN?
It's on ESPN Plus. It's an ESPN
Perfect.
Plus exclusive game.
Oh, perfect. Because that means I can actually get it and I can pull up on another screen over here, or at least another window, and keep an eye on that.
Yeah, no, Schaefer moves so well. It's so it's
Oh yeah, no,
unbelievable.
Schaefer was what the Islanders. Honestly, the Islanders are in a great position to do a super quick roster retool, revamp, whatever term you want to use. That's not a rebuild, just because some of the players that they still have, like if they just move, like they have to pull the trigger on this. That's the thing. Like they have the ability to pull the trigger on guys like Matt Barzal, Bo Horvat. Like Horvat's one I would probably keep. Barzal is one that I would probably move on from for a few reasons.
Well, I sorry to cut you off, but I thought that this was hilarious that Jimmy Murphy makes that tweet, gets absolutely reamed on Twitter, and then the next day Barzell gets sacked because
bench.
he doesn't make the bus.
And
Some
then
people,
but then to his credit, Jimmy's like, this is what I was talking about.
no, I mean, listen, some people owe that man an apology, and I'm
They
glad that
absolutely do.
because there were Islanders fans that said some pretty nasty things under that thing, and I give Jimmy credit. He's been under fire a few times and he keeps his cool. But some people owe that guy an apology because that
Yeah.
it was definitely a little out there, but it is unbelievable how quick. Less than 24 hours later, he's proven right. So
Yep.
I don't know what he knows. I don't know if Matt Barzell hit him up and said, "Hey, I'm gonna miss the bus tomorrow, so maybe tweet this out and get your likes and all that, and get your engagement up." But
Yep. Get the engagement up. Get the hate tweets coming,
oh yeah,
and
and
then
then
I'll
just
and then I'll just I got your back. Don't you worry. He says.
oh
Point
yeah,
0.8
no,
seconds in the first, and there's a penalty called.
no. Jimmy Murphy paid Matt Barzell to miss the bus today
Yep.
just to look good.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it was. Send him the nice little Venmo with an icon of a bus.
Yeah, of course. The NHL won't be able to decipher it, but he was like, "No, I was just paying him $100,000 for bus
It's
fare."
yeah, it's the next big scandal in sports. You know,
Yeah,
the NBA has that, and the NHL has Jimmy Murphy paying Barzal to miss a bus.
just I crazy world that we're
but
living in.
but think about this: what haul could they get for Matt Barzal?
I don't. I mean, I
Because
don't know. I'm just
if
thinking
you
about what they would need, and defense is definitely one that sticks out. I know they just got Schaefer. They have a few players in the minors, like Marshall Warren, who's actually still with the team. Should have been in the minors if Cal Ritchie ended up getting that call. They have Isaiah George, who isn't off to the best start, but he's another one that's on that bubble that could have started the year with the team. He was one of the last players to be sent down, but so there are two great names. I know that a lot of people are high on Callio Delius, who had a decent season last year for Bridgeport, just got recalled from the ECHL. So I'm just trying to think about like what they would want and what they would need for a guy like Matt Barzell.
well, what I'm so you got 6 years left on that contract. That if when he's healthy
Ooh,
should age pretty well. Health is a little bit of a question mark. It's not a big giant bolded question mark, but it's a question mark that's there. But you got 6 years, and you have a damn good player when he's on the ice. So
mm-hmm.
if you were to put that type of player on a, we'll call him almost contender to contender type team, like he moves you up a category
Yeah,
when he's on the ice.
I think it's another one of those situations where it's like when he's leading, when he's one of the leaders on the team, it might be a problem. But when he is steps back and he's allowed to just be a role player and not show up and have to take accountability for everybody's issues like a leader has to, especially with the Islanders. And imagine how much good it would be for a guy like Matt Barzal to go play for a good team, a team where he knows if he doesn't score tonight, we still can win, and we
Yeah,
still might win. It feels like with the Islanders, Matt Barzal doesn't score. Who is? Who's going to put the
right.
puck in the net? If his line
Well, right
struggles,
now the answer is Matthew Schaefer.
Schaefer might not put the puck in the net, but you'll find somebody to put the puck in the net. I'll tell you that. Like, unbelievable stuff from Schaefer. But the Islanders could get a really nice haul from him or for him. Cole Eiserman, I'm curious to see how that would go down at the end of the year. See what his plans are. I'm hoping he comes to Bridgeport because that means just more views for us. Honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah, and again, a few years away, but Jacob Kvasnicka doing incredible things over for the Penticton V's as well. Like he's having a hell of a season, and Bridgeport's struggling. And I do not give any moral victories in hockey. That's not what I do. But there is definitely some good to take from the way that those guys have been playing, and the Isles definitely have a few guys. If done right, they will have a few very nice pieces, especially on defense for the years to come. And that's just it. They need to develop them well. And I feel like this season has gone much better than last season. That's not saying much, as last season was like the worst season.
yeah. I was gonna say that's a nice low bar. Good job.
Yeah, I know. I love the way that they battle. I love the way that they play for each other. And Bradley Nadeau scores a beautiful goal off of Maxim Siplikov's ugly turnover right in front of the goal. I mean, you couldn't get any worse if you tried. It looked like a Nikita Zadorov turnover like last year in Carolina.
Hey, I was gonna say Zadorov has been pretty good this year. I'm not sure he's the right one to be picking on that one.
For the
But
Carolina one last
I
year
was
where he
gonna
broke
say
his stick,
compared
I
to
needed
the
to.
Carolina broken stick though, that's that's an all timer.
Yeah, his stick didn't snap. That was just an ugly play by Siplikov. I have to admit that as well. David Riddick just got absolutely bodied in front of the net by Jackson Blake, and they're calling a penalty, which is a good thing. I don't know if you're watching right now. I know you're the goalie
I
guy, but
just flipped it over. I'm at 16:02. So how far back do I need to go?
no, it's 16:02.
All right. So how far back do I need to go on this? Is it the penalty that they just called?
Yeah,
All right. Let me just back it up here. I had the other screen going.
yeah, it was interference. In
So
front.
what do you want me to be looking for here?
Oh no, I just wanted you to look at his pads. David
Those
Riddick
are
has a
those are
beautiful setup.
sweet. Oh, that's a little bit of a cheap shot too.
Yeah, Jackson Blake cuts to the front. Obviously, a few people take exception to that, but I love that they have Schaefer quarterbacking this power play. I think that is another recent change that they have made.
Riddick is on his game though. Like he is reading the play very well. He's in perfect position. Like like even on that he's holding the puck, not giving up rebounds. Like it's a bad brutal penalty for Blake to take right there, but definitely one. Ooh, that was his chest. Okay, I mean it's still not where you should be going. You know what? Islanders fans may need to worry. The spotter could pull Riddick from this game.
Well, I mean, they don't have to worry a ton. They do have Sorokin still, and he's not. He could definitely come in and play for I don't know. He's going to be tested tomorrow because they play the Capitals, but yeah, I mean, still have him in relief just in case.
Yeah, but I mean, after a hit like that to the head, they should have pulled him. Like this isn't pulling a relief pitcher in baseball. He can go back in, but they should have pulled him just to check on him. If they, obviously, if there's truth to the "we care about our players" statements,
Yeah,
player safety number one.
Yeah, I'm not taking that for what it's worth. I'll say that. We'll see.
I think they care, but not enough to like why not enough to pull him in that situation. I mean, he even had the head shake. That's a good shorthanded goal right there.
Who
And
is that?
Patrick Watt is pissed.
Is that Mike Riley? Is Mike Riley even on the
Yeah, that
Yeah,
looks like
Mike
Mike
Riley.
Riley.
Former Bruin and former Islander Mike Riley. Shot right. Oh, I don't know how you think about that. That puck hits him in the chest, rolls to the corner. I don't know.
Oh, he did. Okay. So when that shot hits him in the chest and it goes behind the goal, he thinks it's deflected. Well, I don't know. He definitely lost the play. Like Riley was quicker than he saw the play unfolding. So good on Mike Riley getting his first goal of the season. But I do also sit here and wonder, the way that Rittich struggled on that play, is that a residual effect from the hit he just took? Or did he just not see it?
Rough start for the Islanders, nonetheless. 2 goals in 5 minutes, one being a shorthanded goal. It's just not
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Not a good start.
Did you ever see the theory that the What Chaos crew has out there for streaming?
Oh yeah, what? That it's behind?
Yeah, well, I just flipped back to the Northeastern game, and I was like 5 minutes behind on the stream.
Yeah, what did they say about that? I saw the thumbnail or whatever for people that were, or whatever it was on social media.
So the idea behind it, and I think there's some validity to it to some degree. Like in some instances, it's just your computer doesn't have the RAM, it doesn't have the memory, it doesn't have the wherewithal to stay completely caught up on something. Like the processing power is not there for the live stream. However, if that were the case, you'd be like 5 seconds behind. You know what I mean? Like 5,
Yeah.
maybe 10 seconds behind. The idea behind the theory, and it's not that brutal, is, have you noticed that you start to get the countdown ads now? They put the
Yeah.
little timer and it says 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You get the full 2-minute ad there, but a commercial break on TV is not a full 2 minutes. It's usually about 1:25. So if you have an extra 75 seconds of commercials, right? Well, when they bring you back to the game after your commercials are seen, they're going to start the feed with where you left off, which makes sense because you don't see a difference.
Yeah.
But then when you check the status of the live bar, you are in fact, after a couple commercial breaks, you're an accumulative 4 or 5 minutes behind, because a minute here, a minute there, a minute per commercial break, 3 commercial breaks later, you're 3 minutes behind live. And the idea came because, you're watching a game live, and then all of a sudden something happens, you bump the remote or whatever, and you see where your status bar is, and you're like, wait a minute, there's more red after this. I'm not live anymore. You click the live button, you jump ahead 5 seconds.
That definitely checks. That makes that
Doesn't
checks
it?
out. Yeah, that makes too much sense.
I just flipped back to the Islanders Hurricanes game. I am at 13:29 in the game. I am over 3 minutes behind on the stream, and I did not pause it. I literally skipped an entire commercial break because of it.
Brandon Bussey just left the net. I think he
started coming back.
Penalty.
That's the part that I skipped ahead to. I watched him start scrambling back to the goal.
Yeah, I think he thought that there was going to be a penalty on a goalie interference, but
That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like.
there was
But
not, and he was not too happy.
he probably got called over to go to the bench because the coach thought there was one.
Yeah.
But and like I'm not saying that's what's happening right now on my stream. I got 3 streams going, plus I got this. It's all coming from the same internet. It's all coming from the same machine. Like I get it. So
Yeah.
I'm not that upset over those 3 minutes there, but the theory holds true.
All the more reason to be in the arena when you're covering a team.
Yep. I'm just noticing the time here. I do have a hard out coming up here in a couple minutes because I do have a meeting to jump on here in a bit. Obviously, we do these watch alongs and stuff like that. I don't even know quote unquote regular episodes anymore. We want to try to get back to doing some regular stuff. There's just I finally got approved to go back to work next week.
There you
So,
go.
we got some regularity re-hitting life here. But we're working on a lot of stuff back here. So we'll do a few of these just to kind of keep our stuff going here. We'll hopefully get you back on with Gail and I at some point. I know you're doing a lot more with Bridgeport, with the Islanders and stuff like that. So your eyes are primarily on that, but there's plenty of hockey for you and I to go over as well. So you got any final thoughts here as we wrap up this stream here, as we got a couple good games going on?
Yeah, no, we're gonna get back to that normal podcast like and less of this, but I obviously enjoy doing this as well, and I think it's good that I'm doing Bridgeport and you're still staying with the Bruins. Gives us a little bit more. We're covering a lot more. That means we're watching different teams and we're watching more games and we're covering more stuff. I just don't like it because the teams play at the exact same time, and when when I have to write about one team, that's where the focus needs to be. But yeah, no, another episode that we're getting down here, and it's been fun.
Yeah, and I'm working on trying to get some guests. We'll talk to some lower level coaches. I don't even want to really call them general managers. They're just the player personnel people. Oftentimes it's the coach or whatever. You and I will start doing a lot more when it comes to some of those lower levels, whether it's the AHL, the OHL, even lower than that. Even the idea behind what we're trying to bring to people is that path for players. So definitely we're seeing stories in Boston about what Brad Marchand does to go coach a youth team. You know what I mean? Like it's those youth players that are the players of tomorrow that we're looking more for. So you and I will do a lot more of that as well. But obviously, we know a lot of people want to talk about the NHL, their favorite team, their favorite players. So we want all the questions, comments, etc. So we're working on some stuff so that we can do it all over here. So with that, I want to thank everybody for watching. Kenny, thanks for some time. If you got any final thought, let me know. And for now, I'm going to go click over to my meeting.